Morning, everyone, and I'm Clotilde Costa, and I will present an in vitro system for metastatic breast cancer diagnosis. 30% of women will be diagnosed with breast cancer at some point during their lifetime. This makes the female breast cancer the most commonly diagnosed cancer worldwide, and it is estimated that 2.3 million new cases occur in 2020. Over 30% of the breast cancer patients will eventually develop metastasis, which means that the tumor spreads to secondary organs. And this is responsible for 90% of the breast cancer-related mortality, since it becomes a complex disease that, although is treatable, is incurable. Currently, in the clinic practice, there is no effective identification of the risk of metastasis. Besides, regarding the cost, the metastatic disease is over 4 times higher than the localized disease. The standard process in the breast cancer follow-up is that once a patient is diagnosed with breast cancer, it has a visit to the physician for a period of time. At the beginning, more frequently, each 3-4 months for 2 years, and then each is 6 months until the 5th year. Besides, annually is performed a mammography for 10 years. However, without signs or symptoms, the imaging test is not required. The imaging test is the way to confirm the metastasis together with the biopsy when it's possible to perform. However, these tests are expensive. The validation needs the expert validation and leads to patient discomfort and secondary effects. Also, it's often is performed when the disease evolution is too advanced. So there is an urgent need to have tools to identify earlier the risk of having metastasis for a better patient management. Our blood test is a kit based on an immunoassay and a software which integrates 3 parameters to give a risk of breast cancer metastasis. The 3 parameters came from the blood of the patient, and one is LAM2 that is measured by immunoassay, and the other 2 parameters came from a routine blood test that are hematocrit and RDW. Then the algorithm will give risk. So if there is no risk, the recommendation is to continue with the follow-up, and if there is risk, then the physician will require an imaging test to confirm. The blood test will be performed in each medical visit during the breast cancer follow-up. We have protected these biomarkers in a patent, and the blood test is non-invasive. There is no sample limitation. Avoid the tumor heterogeneity, represent the systemic disease. It has a low price and is easy to perform frequently. Also is independent of the metastasis localization or breast cancer subtype. The blood test has a sensitivity of 92% and a specificity of 80%. The science behind this percentage are published in this article and are based on data from real patients from stage 1 to 4 and cancer-free donors. The blood test is for healthcare professionals, both public and private hospitals or clinical laboratories. We have identified different competitors that analyze the minimal residual disease, but the main difference is that they are based on the mutational profile, and this could be a disadvantage in many occasions. Besides, our blood test is easy to perform since not require a qualified site for its performance, what means that could be performed frequently. We have performed proof of concept and the validation of our idea, and now we would like to perform the development of the prototype in parallel to perform market studies, including a cost-effective analysis, and then go through the analytical and clinical validation, including a clinical trial. In a transversal way, we will focus also in the IP and technology transfer strategy, and in the last part of the project, the regulatory path to get into the market in 5 years, with an investment of 2.5 million euros. But this will have a revenue in the following 5 years quite high, focusing on the European and USA market. The team is multidisciplinary and complementary. In the scientific part, we have a specialist in proteomics, and myself that I have experience in molecular oncology. In the clinical part, we have a gynecologist and an oncologist. In the technical part, we have a biotechnologist and a technician. And lastly, in the management part, we have a tech transfer and innovation officer and a project manager. To sum up, the blood test is a tool which aims to determine the breast cancer metastasis risk to help to detect metastasis earlier. It has tumor expression independence, needs a small sample volume, is independent of the metastasis localization, and easy to perform. Thank you very much for your attention.